Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Daurel. Guys, we made it to 2022 and I thought to kick off this year I really wanted to do a makeup look that's really inspired me lately. So if you're new here to this channel, hi, my name is Daurel and I love a glowy, dewy, illuminating goddess glow. But lately I've been noticing this trend going around where it's literally such a simple contoured eye with a lot of blush, pink blush, which I normally don't do, and a nude lip and a very matte base. And I've been really excited to try this look. This is the first time on my channel I've ever done a look like this and I'm so in love with how it has turned out. I've noticed a lot of celebrities are doing this makeup look, this very matte 90s, very minimalistic look that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I'm going to show you some pictures that I've been inspired by on Instagram of a few celebrities that have been doing this makeup look. I think a makeup artist that really put this on trend is MakeupbyAriel. I love his matte blushy makeup looks. So today I decided to do one on my channel. So if you would like to see how I achieved this look, please keep watching. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. And you can follow me on all social medias at Dollface Daurel Beauty. Okay, now that you've done that, let's jump right into the video. Okay guys, so for skin prep today, I'm going to be using the Bobbi Brown Enriched Vitamin Face Base. And this is one of my all-time favourite moisturisers because it kind of serves you as a moisturiser slash primer. And the consistency of it is just so smooth. When I apply this to my face, my foundation really does apply on my skin a lot better. It just makes it so effortlessly smooth. For primer today, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. I've used this one for years and it's a great primer to smooth out any visible pores and just give you that airbrushed filter finish. Okay, so usually in my makeup routine, this is the part where I would add like a highlighted illuminator primer onto my skin, but I'm not going to do that today because today we are all matte, which is something that I clearly do not do, but I'm actually really excited to do it today. So we're going to skip the highlight and go straight to foundation. And for foundation, I'm going to be using one of my favorites, which is the Gucci Natural Fluid Foundation. I love this foundation so much. It has more of a natural finish versus an ultra matte or ultra glowy. It's right in the middle. It's more, I would say, on the mattifying side, but not too matte where it dries out my skin. And I have done a full in-depth review on this foundation, which I will link up there. And I am in the shade 330W, and I believe this is medium to full coverage. I think that this is quite buildable, so I'm going for the more full coverage. So I'm gonna probably do maybe 2 pumps and see where we go with that. I'm going to take the rest with my beauty blender, and this is the beauty blender that has the star signs on it. I'm in Aries, so my star sign is right there, Aries, and I'm going to blend that out. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Concealer, and I'm in the shade LM13. And this is a really full coverage concealer, so this will go perfect with the look we are doing today. Add some here. I'm going to drag it out slightly more lower, which is something I don't really usually do. I normally just keep it about here, stop around here. But most of the pictures that I've seen, their under eyes have a little bit more definition to them, so I'm going to drag it out just a little bit lower. And I'm going to blend that out using my beauty blender. I'm going to drag it all the way across here to give you more of that lifted look. Okay, as you can see, that is blended out beautifully, and I've also dragged it out. I've also dragged it out a little bit lower, almost like where the apples of my cheeks are. I don't normally do this. I have it a little bit more higher, but I used to do this years ago because I would see a lot of celebrities when they used to get their makeup done on like YouTube videos that they would drag it really low. I'm going to leave my nose contour for a little bit longer. I'm going to cream contour first, then I'm going to blend it into the cream contour. I like to let it sit for a little while just so it's highlighted more. Okay, now that I've blended that out, I'm going to be trying out a product I've never actually tried before. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Bronzer in the shade Caramel, which looks like this. It's a really nice warm brown shade. These are the sort of shades that I love because it looks more on the natural side than the like harsh contoured side. Also, this has a matte finish which will work perfect with this look as we're going for an all matte look. So I'm just going to take some on my Morphe E7 brush. So I'm just going to pat that. My cheekbones. Oh, this is a nice cut. This is a beautiful shade. Yeah, this is perfect. And it's really blending out really nice and smoothly. And this is definitely buildable as well, which I prefer. I like it to be more buildable, that way you can build it up to your heart's desire versus it being way too pigmented where it becomes like very muddy and very hard to blend out, and then you're kind of left with like a muddy looking face, which is really hard to blend out. Okay, so the first setting powder I'm going to use, yes, I'm going to be using more than one setting powder today to set my face, not bake my face, set my face. I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier translucent powder in the shade Honey, just to set everything in place and make sure everything that I've laid down doesn't move around. Okay, so how I apply my powder, I always blend it out on my hand before putting it on my face. I never directly put it on my face. The reason why I don't do that is because most of the dispensers from the setting powders always have those like dots where they come out from, and if you sort of just put your beauty blender straight in and apply it to your face, you're going to be applying those dots to your face, which are really annoying, and they set into your face. So it's always better to kind of smooth it out, then apply it. It just goes on way more smoother. So again, remember, we're not baking, we are just setting. And yes, I'm aware I haven't blended out my nose. Don't worry, we're leaving that to last. Okay, so when I contour my nose, I like to use more of a cool tone shade versus a warm shade. So we're going to switch it up. So to contour my nose, I'm going to be using the Patrick Tar Cream Contour and Bronzer Powder. And this is in the shade She's So Sculpted. So I'm going to take the cream side, which is more of a cool tone compared to this, which is more of a warm tone. I'm going to pick up some of that product and I'm going to start dragging that down the side of my nose all the way to the edge, and then blend out whatever's left, and then do the same for the other side. And I'm going to start to blend out that lighter shade into the contour, and then whatever's left on my beauty blender from the concealer, I'm just going to press that in. Okay guys, so now that I've set my face, now I'm going to bake. Using a second powder, which is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in the shade Banana. So as you can see, this shade is a lot more lighter than the Laura Mercier. It's more closer in my skin tone compared to this one. And the reason why I like to use both of them is because I feel like this one sets my face in place, and I use this for brightening purposes. I've noticed looking at a lot of these soft glam matte looks, the under eye is very, very bright, almost white. So for someone of colour, you kind of have to get there a little bit more gradually instead of just going straight in with a shade like this, because then I'm going to get the whole flashback looking grey and looking ashy, and we don't want that. So if we go in with a more of a natural colour first and then go in with a brightener, it's going to photo better. So again, taking some of that on my hand, and then we're going to bake this time. So I'm going to press that into the skin. Remember, we're leaving it all the way up here, all the way up. Remember, we're dragging it just a little bit lower than I would usually do. And we're going to leave that to bake while we are applying our bronzer. Okay, now I'm going to set my cream bronzer. I'm going to be using the KKW Beauty Contour and Highlight Palette, which looks like this. And this is in the shade Medium. And I'm going to take some of the bronzer shade. I haven't tried a lot of KKW Beauty products, but I absolutely swear by this contour palette. I really like the formula of it. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the contour colour. I'm just going to contour just underneath where the bronzer is, just to add a little bit more dimension. Give us more of a look. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with a little bit more of that banana powder to cut the cheeks. We want it to be quite sharp. I'm actually going to dust off any remaining bake that I've got going on. And the reason why I'm not letting this sit for too long is because we're going to go in with another powder. However, I still leave these parts of my face to bake. Now I'm going to quickly contour my nose using some more of that contour colour from the KKW contour palette. Trying to get this as snatched as we can get it. Okay, moving on to our third powder of the day and the last powder. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder. I'm going to use this in a shade that I would probably never wear on its own because it is very, very light, but it has a yellow undertone in it. I'm using it in the shade Pound Cake. It's almost similar to the Laura Mercier translucent powder, the one with no colour. I normally wouldn't use this colour on my skin tone by itself because it will give me the worst flashback. But because I'm sort of building up that bright under eye, I've laid down a nice colour scheme for it to sort of set onto. What I'm going to do is keep that right underneath here. And this is going to sit and bake while I do my eyeshadow. Okay, now I'm going to quickly prime my eyelids using the NARS matte concealer in the shade Macadamia. And now I'm going to set that with some of that Pound Cake shade. It's always good to use a primer for your eyeshadow, but then it's also just as important to set that primer down with powder. That way your eyeshadow will go on a lot more smoother. It'll give you more of that airbrush look. So I'm just looking at the picture that I'm drawing inspiration from, which is the makeup that MakeupbyAriel did on Kylie. I've noticed in this specific look that I've seen a lot, the eyeshadow is very bronzy, almost like the same sort of shade as, you know, colours that you would contour with. And also a matte light shade as well, like a nude flesh toned shade for the lid. I'm going to stick to a very neutral palette. So the eyeshadow palette I'll be using today is the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. This is the Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, which looks like this. Oh my god, this is me in a palette. Okay, I'm going to stick to the bronzy brown shades, and I'm only using matte shades on my eyes today. I'm going to go in, I don't know if these have names. Do these have names? Oh, they do. I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which is a really light bronzy shade. I think this is called Absolutely. And I'm going to take that on a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'm going to keep that on the outer corners of my eye and sort of blend that out, and then slowly bring it in, but keeping more of the blend in the outer corners. I'm going to wing that out as much as I can. These eyeshadows are so creamy and they're like a dream to blend out. And they're true to colour as well, which I love, because some eyeshadow palettes, they have the colours in the pan, but then when you actually put them on your skin, it's like a completely different colour. I'm just going to wing that out. And then whatever's left, start carving out. Okay, now we're going to dip into this shade right here, which is a deeper red toned brown matte shade. And I'm taking that on a Morphe M506 brush. And again, I'm going to continue to wing that out at the corners. And then start bringing it in. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with that same Sigma brush and that same matte shade I used for my transition shade. And I'm actually going to do a little trick. I've seen a lot of makeup artists do this while they're doing this makeup look. They take this shade and they blend it all the way up to their brows, and then they start to bring it down, which will connect it to the nose contour. I again never do this technique, so this is going to be really interesting just to see how it sort of pulls out your eye. It all kind of connects. I'm going to do the same for this eye. Just blend that out really softly and then start bringing it in to blend into the nose contour. Okay, now I'm going to take the lightest shade in the palette. I'm just gonna dust that over, just keeping it really nice and tucked in nicely in the lid. Okay, now I'm going to smoke up my waterline using that same brown shade right here. Okay, now I'm going to take this cream shade right here. So all these are powder formulas and these two right here are cream formulas. I'm going to take the darkest shade here and I'm actually going to do a winged eyeliner using it. Just keeping that shade at the edge of my eyes, like so, and then slowly bringing it out just to wing it out, like so. I mean, I would do this if I had like a brown eyeliner, which I don't, but this works perfectly as a winged eyeliner. I love palettes like this where you can literally use so many different shades for different things other than just eyeshadow. So as you can see, I've just made a little wing eyeliner just there and it was so easy to do. And as you can see, I've not brought it all the way across. I kind of start in the middle and then I wing it out from there. Okay, now I'm going to take the darkish matte shade here and I'm just going to set that brown liner with this powder. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the Patrick Tar gel eyeliner. This is in the nude shade. I'm just going to apply that to my waterline. Okay, now that the eyes are done, I'm going to wipe off that ink and just press that into the skin. Okay guys, now that the eye's pretty much complete, I'm gonna go off camera and finish it off. And I'm gonna use the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. And for lashes, I'm gonna be using the Tarte Lashes, the Molly May collaboration, which is these really nice wispy, demi natural looking eyelashes. And I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back with the eye look complete. I've just added some lashes and I also highlighted my brow bone and my tear ducts with this shade right here from the palette, which is just a really nice white iridescent shade. Okay, now is one of the most important steps out of this look, and that is blush. So normally my sort of blush that I would wear is like a coral peachy sort of tone blush. I tend to stay away from pink blushes, but in this particular makeup trend, the pinker the blush, the better the blush. So I'm going to be taking the Patrick Tar She's That Girl cream and powder blush, which as you can see is a very like almost like doll like pink, which is sort of what we're going for today. Don't really know how we feel about it, but we're gonna go for it. So I'm going to pick up some of my brush. This is very pigmented. And I've noticed that the blush placement is not necessarily on the apples of the cheek. It more kind of goes upwards. So I'm going to start off here. Then really start bringing it up. Because it almost comes up to the place where we've baked. Wait, that actually looks really pretty. Okay, we're going to go with more. We're just going to keep on blushing. This is so different from me. I never do my blush like this, but this is what we're doing today. This particular trend is a sort of trend that doesn't actually use a lot of highlighter, if not any. But in this particular picture that I'm drawing inspiration for, Kylie does have a bit of highlight on her nose. If anything, most of these pictures that I've seen, the only bit of highlighter I ever see is on the nose. So I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills and Reezy highlighter right here. I'm going to take some of that and I'm just going to apply it right here on my nose and just down the bridge. Just like that, a little exclamation point. and that is it. Okay, so now let's move on to lips. So again, with these trends, I'm noticing that the lip is normally very, very nude. So I'm going to go in with the MAC lip liner in the shade Cork. Okay, so for lips, I'm going to be using the Patrick Ta matte lipstick in the shade She's Single. Okay, now we're going to set the face, and I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Resting Boss Face, which is a nice mattifying setting spray, but the smell is a lot, so I'm just going to hold my breath. Okay guys, so this is the final look. This is my celebrity inspired soft matte glam look. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really hope you love how this look has turned out. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more. Follow me on all social media, that is at Dollface Daurel Beauty. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.